What if you can access up to $4,500 by tomorrow without jumping through endless hoops? Well, today we're talking about a loan that's making that claim, and I'm gonna show you exactly how it works. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Currency Counts, where I cover all things money. So today we're talking about a loan called Elastic by Republic Bank. This loan is geared to people with less than perfect credit scores and offers loans up to $4,500. If you need emergency cash, this can be a great option because it's fast, it's flexible, but it is expensive. We'll get more into that in a minute. As I mentioned, you can receive a loan of up to $4,500 and get funded in as fast as the next business day. And although they don't publicly disclose a minimum credit score needed to be approved, Elastic often lends to people with fair to poor credit who may not be able to get traditional loans anywhere else, relying on other factors like income, making it accessible to people who don't have good credit but do have a steady income. So all you need is basic information and a linked bank account to apply. So Elastic works different than a traditional personal loan. Traditional personal loans are closed-ended. You receive one lump sum. As soon as you receive that money, you start paying interest on that full amount. Let's say you receive $5,000. On day one, you're paying interest on that full $5,000. Even if you don't use that money right away, you use a few grand here, you use a grand there, you have that last grand in your bank account just in case, you're getting charged on that full $5,000. That $1,000 you have sitting in your bank account, you're being charged interest on. Elastic is a revolving line of credit, so let's say you get approved for that full $4,500. You only need $1,000 right away. You can draw that $1,000. You still have $3,500 to draw from in the future if needed, and whatever you don't use, you don't get charged for. The only downside here is that Elastic charges a 10% cash advance fee. So every time you make a draw from your account, from your balance, you're being charged 10% to use your money. So if you draw $1,000, you're getting charged a $100 fee, and that can get pretty expensive, especially if you're drawing your full $4,500 limit. If you get approved for that full $4,500 limit. And if you don't pay the balance off by the next due date, you'll pay a carried balance fee, which can range anywhere from $5 to $350 per billing cycle. That's not interest, that's a carried balance fee. That fee also depends on how much you owe. A downside here is that Elastic does run a hard credit check, but since it is a revolving line of credit, it's only run one time. And you can use your line of credit over and over as long as your account is open and in good standing. Here's the part people miss. So let's throw a scenario out there. Let's say you did get approved for $4,000. You drew that full $4,000. Right off the jump, you're getting charged a 10% cash advance fee, which in this case would be $400. So you're getting $3,600 deposited into your account because that $400 fee or whatever fee it is not added to the end of the loan. It's taken out right off the top. And once your bill comes due, you're gonna owe a balance carry fee along with a portion of your principal. So if you're just making that minimum payment every month, you can get stuck in a real bad situation. So if you need emergency cash and decide to apply for this loan, make sure you have an exit plan, because if you don't, if you keep rolling that balance, it can be bad news financially. So let's see what people have to say about Elastic. The process was easy and not a whole lot of information requested that relates to your credit. Funds were available on the second business day. A wonderful company to do business with. The approval process was easy and getting the money that I requested was smooth without any problems or delays. So far, it's pretty good. Money was in my account quicker than expected and payments are sufficient. Very, very good bank. Now, this would be an honest review because it has 1 star. Horrible company. They will say you're accepted, even get an email saying your account is active. But after that, getting the email saying you have to send documents before being accepted. Then after 2 times of sending the proper documents, ID and recent bank statements, they declined me just minutes after I questioned them. Then they wouldn't even tell me why. Said I had to write to them in the mail. Even when I called, they wouldn't give me an answer. Awful company. Okay, so they responded. Elastic Bank did. Thanks for bringing this to our attention. Please email us so we can work it out. Okay, even though this was a horrible review, this shows me that customer service is active, and this is not coming from the Elastic website. This is coming from Trustpilot. I think this is a great way to help when you need a little extra money and easy payments for paying off. So this is kind of where I'd give Elastic the benefit of the doubt. It says shady interest designed to make you pay 10 times the amount borrowed. Don't be late one day. They cut your ability to borrow more cash. This is one of those places the gov is going to shut down soon enough. I don't think the government's going to shut this down. I'm taking it that this person is mad because the interest is really high, and I'd assume they had a late payment and weren't able to borrow any more cash. So on your terms of service, on your TILA, your truth in lending, before you sign, it's going to lay out everything. It's going to lay out the payments. It's going to lay out the interest. It's going to lay out the fees. You don't have to sign it, right? This is emergency cash designed for people that need quick money, and you should know what you're getting yourself into anytime you sign any type of loan, whether it's a subprime loan, whether it's a low APR loan, whatever it is, you need to know what you're signing before you actually sign. So yes, I do understand the fees are crazy and they are high relatively, but to say they have shady interests, I definitely wouldn't agree with that. They do have high fees. I think he's upset because you missed a payment, and once you miss a payment, it's also laid out in your terms. They're not going to let you borrow more money if you're missing payments. This is kind of what the other person was saying that gave it a 1 star. I applied and was told I was pre-approved. I finished the application and was denied on my reported income, which was over $8,000 a month. How much do you need to make a month to get approved? Now I have a ding on my credit. I sent them an email as requested along with a copy of the decline. Let's see what happens next. Sent them an email and got nothing. It's automated, so don't expect a reply. My ratings stay the same anyway. The average American median income is $5,174. This happens a lot with loan products. It happens with credit cards. There are certain loans, there's certain credit cards that don't verify proof of income. But if you get outlandish with it and you put crazy amount, you claim you make a certain amount, that does run a red flag. I don't know this guy's personal situation, but if you're making over $8,000 a month, why would you go looking for a relatively small loan compared to your income, especially one that has high fees? So anytime you do something like this, anytime you claim that you make a certain amount that seems high, especially to these loan companies, it does raise a red flag. This person says, Elastic's reliable but expensive. $100 a month fee for a $5,000 credit line. Access was instant but took days to respond. Better for emergency than long term. Elastic not only charges the 10% cash advance fee, but they also charge a carry balance fee on top of your payment. I have a $2,500 loan with them and my regular monthly payment is $200 a month. It isn't outrageous to me. But because I took out an advance of the full $2,500, $195 is added on top of the carried balance fee, so my monthly payment is $395. Like an idiot, I got so excited that I got approved and was struggling and didn't read the fine print. Exactly. This is exactly why I'm making this video. A lot of people don't read the fine print when they go looking for a loan. They just look at the first page of the website where they're applying for the loan. They look at all the great information. Oh, we don't check credit, we don't charge fees, or we don't charge whatever. You apply without reading the fine print and you get into a situation like this. So what I'm assuming here, this $200 a month is your carried balance fee and that $195 is your principal, or vice versa, whatever it is. So you're either paying $195 or $200 a month on the carried balance fee, and you're only paying $195 or $200 a month on principal if you're only making your minimum payment. So total, right under $400 a month payment for a $2,500 loan. Now I'm struggling even more. There's nothing I can do about it, so my options are to continue to pay or revoke my ACH authorization and perhaps file Chapter 7. I don't even know what to say to that. See, this is crazy. One loan can put you in financial peril. That's why I said make sure you have an exit plan if you apply for a loan like this. These are for emergency purposes only. And if you have bad credit because of collections and negative items and are tired of only getting approved for these high fee, high interest loans, check out my credit repair course. It has proven results on getting those negative items and collections removed from your credit report. So you can say goodbye to subprime and say hello to prime loans. Check it out right now, linked in description. So a few of the pros to Elastic are you don't need good credit to be considered for this loan, fast approval process and funds in as little as the next day, and higher lending limits than most cash advance apps. On the flip side of that, a few of the cons are you're being charged 10% every time you draw from your credit limit, high carried balance fees, making it easy to fall into that debt cycle. I just keep thinking about that one comment of this person saying they're considering filing Chapter 7. So I would consider Elastic if I had a real emergency and I needed the cash and I had a plan to repay it back in full. Not ideal for long-term funding or carrying a balance month to month. And don't forget, I'll be online for 1 hour after every upload answering 100% of subscriber questions. Your questions don't have to be about the new video. They can be about any video on my channel. Just make sure you're subscribed and commenting on the latest video so I can reply. So hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the new content. Thanks for watching. Helpful financial links in the description. See you in the comments.